Hello and welcome to another edition of Drink to a Decade. I am Detective Artemis.
As always, it's me, your boy Kay.
And today we are honoring the 30th anniversary of one of the all-time best sequels of all time, Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
It is a hard feat to make the secondary movie better than the first, but they fucking captured it. It was magic.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the legacy of part 2s. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Clink.
So Terminator 2, dude. 30 years. What's one of your fondest memories of the movie?
I think, it's what it is. The movie was really, the star of the show was the T-1000. It was a far cry from Arnold's hard T-100. And, the T-1000, was fucking amazing.
Dude, I remember the toys growing up. I had a shit ton of Terminator toys.
I wanted a shit ton of Terminator toys, if I'm being honest, but I never got them. Empty promises and broken dreams, y'all.
Well, that's just us growing up, unfortunately. But I remember specifically, there was it was called the Terminator creation set. So you would have this sort of chemical, not chemical, but a little shit you would mix with water, and you would kind of make your Terminators in like a mold kind of thing.
Yeah.
I felt like a scientist.
So it was supposed to be to be like making a T-1000 with its fucking liquid metal
or
components.
or the Model 101 that Arnold was. But yeah, it was really cool. I remember the T-1000 a lot. I thought he was one of the fucking coolest things ever.
He was fucking, honestly, it wasn't a scary movie, but imagine being chased down by an undying robot that you apparently needed molten steel to fucking kill.
And see, that's why I think it could be argued that Terminator 1 is a sci-fi horror, because you have this unrelenting thing trying to kill you, and that's a pretty scary thing.
Honestly, it has all the makings of a horror movie just without being terrifying. It's an unrelenting force coming out of a future that you know nothing about, and being told that, hey, yeah, the kid you're giving birth to is gonna murder, or it's gonna save the world, but the machines are gonna fucking hate that. So you guys are gonna be hunted for the rest of your natural lives.
Yeah, and just Arnold's presence alone in the first one, he is just this big ass fucking hoss, and he has that look.
He was still pretty ripped, and he was fucking chiseled out of granite or whatever the hell his muscles were made of back in the 80s. And he was, he was a fucking machine. If you had to think of a guy or a person as a well-oiled machine, it should be somebody in top physical performance like Arnold.
And one of the funny old stories about T1 is that O.J. Simpson was apparently at one point considered for the role or auditioned for one. And James Cameron says oh, yeah, I just don't see him as a killer, so we're going to pass on that.
That is hilarious.
Have you heard that before?
No, I've never heard that before. The Jews proved him wrong.
Yeah, 94 came, he was oh, maybe I should have cast him.
Yeah, damn! Look at him. Oh, that Bronco chase. That could have been the inspiration.
There was plenty of chase in the Terminator movies. Can you imagine?
Fuck you, James Cameron. I can kill.
Dude, what if that was his motivation? This is horrible,
yeah,
but
we're branching off.
Sorry. Yeah, dude. So I always thought that one of my favorite things about the Terminator movies, both of them. I'll start with the first one. If you've never seen Terminator before, never heard of it, never seen the trailers, and you watch the first one for the first time, as the audience, you don't know who the bad guy is until they meet at that club. Because the way they purposely do it is that they have Kyle show up, and they have Arnold show up at the same time, and they both look sketchy as shit.
And they're both seeing out this one solitary person,
right? And you don't know who's the bad guy until fucking Arnold tries to shoot at Sarah
pulls
in the
out
club.
The gun,
and that's
then,
where
that's when it's
oh
shit, this guy is the fucking asshole. That was a great piece of story.
That's very cool. And now with part 2, if you've never seen it before, never seen it but you know that Arnold was the bad guy in part 1.
Part 1, yeah, so and he shows up in part 2, and you're just oh shit,
he's got to be the bad guy because the other guy is in a police uniform.
That's always safety, right? Everybody, not everybody, but.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, people in the 90s. I don't want to say which people, but they were the police are here. They're great.
Yeah. So I think that's what they're trying to do as well. And when I rewatched it, I made sure that I was kind of correct on this. And they do the same thing. You don't really know who's the bad guy, because you already have like the little preconceived notion that the cop is a good guy, whatever. But they don't establish it yet until like they meet at the mall and they both pull out their guns and shit. And Arnold's like, "Get down," and that's where you know Arnold's actually the good guy this time.
Flip sides this time, and that's also like I never really put those two themes together, but it is a little bit of a repeating process for James Cameron, and get on him, you know?
Yeah, dude, like I think that's really cool about it. And one of the things I like about T2 is that like for most of the movie there's like a blue filter, like a light blue filter on a lot of the shots.
The color grading, right?
Yeah, and blue is a cold color, so it's like it's supposed to be like a depressing and sad feel and like all that shit. And
well,
like,
isn't that what you're supposed to get from the unrelentingness of the T-1000? You know, it's a cold machine, absolutely
cybernetic organism.
Cybernetic organism. But even his face, like, you know, never smiled, never did anything never showed any emotions or emoted. So it was just this. It really drove the point home that this unrelenting thing is coming after you, and that to add insult to injury, you can't even kill it by normal means. It fucking absorbs bullets. It recovers from damage. It's self-healing.
Yeah, and the whole story of Terminator is depressing as well. Like all humans or most of them are gonna die in this fucking apocalyptic thing, and the whole light blue color scheme is it's a testament to that. And it's like one of those details you really don't know. Like you really don't notice that shit, you know. Yeah. But colors, man, they have an effect. Oh yeah, what like they're supposed to do.
There's a range of emotion from them.
Yeah, and you usually see those blues in like horror movies, because horror movies are supposed to be fucking
cold nightmares.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So James Cameron was he really nailed that part to me in the technical standpoint.
Well, he's a great director. I mean,
he's my personal favorite.
Is he?
Yeah,
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
Oh, shit, I know that.
I think it's just because like he can make anything just watchable. He knows how to keep you into it. Like Avatar, it was on paper a boring ass generic story, but visually he brought you into it, and then by the time you know it, like the movie's already over, like, oh shit, I sat through the whole thing.
Did crazy shit. I mean, went to the bottom of the Marianas Trench to film and shit, which I always watch the movie and I always try to like pick out the parts that are underwater. You know, I always try to look for that, like, hey, which is this? And I think it's anything you can see where there's like shit floating around on the actual screen is when he's underwater.
Yeah, this guy, he spent obviously like a decade trying to like do part 2, 3, and 4 like all together.
Over a decade, no, because didn't it come out in like 2007?
Yeah, 2009.
Okay, 2009.
Yeah, so and he's trying to like really master the technical process, because like he's a visual guy, but he does know to like write some pretty good characters and stuff, like True Lies.
Yeah.
And then he brought some more like love to Aliens, because he didn't do Alien because that was fucking Ridley Scott,
yeah.
And James Cameron did Aliens, and that was a really good sequel too.
It was a dope ass movie, yeah.
It was definitely a worthy sequel.
He is. I think James Cameron's an all rounder. He's got the vision. He knows what he wants to shoot and how he wants to shoot it, but he also has the story making abilities as well. That it's not translated a lot in some of the newer directors. Like I would love for Zack Snyder to be able to make like story with his visual prowess, because visually the man is a beast.
Zack Snyder definitely knows how to composite a shot. He knows how to make it look good. He knows how to choreograph a fight scene.
But he just doesn't know how to.
He just needs
create
help.
A story, some depth to it.
Yeah, and like with Army of the Dead, dude, that shit was in development for like 10 years.
I still haven't watched it.
Okay, well, I haven't. Okay, it's something. It's like a car crash, man. Like it's.
I'm going to. I heard it's his best film.
There's no way that.
I didn't. Okay, so articles I've seen stated that Army of the Dead is Zack Snyder's #1 film.
That is no way.
These same articles had Watchmen placed around 6 or 7 though, so I don't. I take that with a grain of
salt.
Watchmen
Watchmen is my favorite Zack Snyder movie. That is obviously his best work.
I think the majority consensus is that it is 300 would be the best. Zack Snyder.
Do you think that?
Watchmen.
I like 300.
I love 300. 300 was great. It was a change at the time. The fight scenes and everything, how they did that whole slow down and speed up choreography, and the fact that it was all filmed indoors and CG. It was fucking great. But Watchmen was perfect.
Yeah, panel for panel. A lot of it was just like the comic. Albeit the change at the end, but it was. He did something that people tried doing for a couple of decades, and it was to make that movie, or make that comic into a movie, and people couldn't do it, but he did it, and I think that like it's still his best work.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
going back to Terminator 2, because we can talk about
Judgment
Zack
Day.
Snyder all day. Although Zack Snyder, I'm gonna last comment on this, he needs to direct the next Mortal Kombat movie because it's
that
all
show
right
would be
there.
amazing.
I've
That
been
would be,
saying it
that'd
for
be
years.
right up his alley. Like
He can do the violence, he can do the gore, and make it look
You don't
cool.
need any significant story
you don't
behind
need a deep-ass
violence.
story.
It's just violence. That's what people want. Give them what they want.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you there.
Anyways, sir, Terminator 2, dude. So it's also the first movie we see Edward Furlong, John Connor in.
Yeah.
And he kind of just sort of disappeared ever since then. He'll do some like random movies here and there. And I think at
Honestly,
one point he was the Crow.
Was he?
Yeah,
no,
he
after
was
Brandon Lee died?
I think it was like maybe the third Crow movie or something.
Oh,
He was the
okay.
Crow.
Because I remember the Crow 1 and 2. I saw those, but I haven't seen any of the ones subsequently after those.
And then I know him also from American History X. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I just don't remember who he was in it.
He was the little brother.
He wasn't still a kid then, though, was he?
He kind of was, yeah.
Because he was a kid for T2. He was like 10, right?
Oh, he was like 12 or 13.
12 or 13, okay. So then after that, like American History X came out,
Just a few years later, like maybe like 94, 95. I don't want to look it up right now, but it's definitely like 90s. Shit, I don't know. It was still in the 90s, so he was still like, himself with his cracky voice and shit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they offered him to do that, but I think he's like, nah, I'm good. Because the Crow money, bro. I know. I have no idea. Yeah, they're all kind of like fucked up at one point, unfortunately. And then also Linda Hamilton, dude. She comes in a stark contrast performance from in part 1. I don't know if you remember part 1. She was this little like innocent waitress lady, like
she definitely was not used to like part 2. She was a fucking badass.
Dude, she gained a shit ton of muscle like for like part 2, and like she was a completely different person.
She came out like fucking sexy. It was sexy as hell to see her in part 2, more than part 1, I believe. Like,
yeah, her hair definitely better. But yeah, dude, she was definitely a strong female lead, and James Cameron knows how to use strong female characters like in Abyss or Aliens.
Absolutely.
Even in True Lies, like Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't like a useless person. Like
no, she had actual depth to her character.
Yeah, and I think at this point, James Cameron was like banging Linda Hamilton, and they were dating for like a long time.
Yeah.
Until he left her for that one lady on Titanic.
Rose?
No, not Rose.
Oh, okay, that bitch.
Never let go, Jack. Except now, I gotta go.
This door's not big enough for the both of us.
Fucking bitch.
Socialite bitches.
But yeah, dude. So Linda Hamilton is amazing in this role. Really,
I think she's the only reoccurring character from multiple movies. I believe also she came out in T1 and T2.
Yeah,
she was in the short-lived show, as far as I remember, as well. The television show on Fox.
The Chronicles of Sarah Connor. No, that was Cersei.
Was that?
That was Cersei, dude.
No fucking way. I gotta go back and watch. I could have sworn
that was Cersei Lannister's. And another fun fact, since we're on Game of Thrones and Terminator, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know this, but Daenerys was in fucking Genesis.
Dude, I gotta rewatch Genesis.
As also Sarah Connor.
Christian Bale?
No, that's Salvation.
No, Genesis was the one after Salvation.
That was a shitty one. Yeah. So you got 2 Game of Thrones characters playing the same character. Or same Game of Thrones actresses playing the same character.
She played Sarah Connors also?
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck? I gotta rewatch
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, that's mind-blowing. Well, I love that they brought her back for Dark Fate, which, if I'm being honest, I still have not seen.
It's good. I like it better than Rise of Machines for sure. Better than Genesis for sure. And in my eyes, I think it's the better like part 3.
So after the best ones were obviously Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. After that, we have Rise of the Machines, we have Salvation, we have Genesis, we have Dark Fate. We didn't have another one, did we? No, it was just those 3. Yeah. So Dark Fate, you're saying better than Rise of the Machines, Genesis, and Salvation.
Yes.
Okay.
I would put Salvation as I would rank it 4th place because I like Salvation.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was a time where we had a different setting in a Terminator movie, so it felt it felt different. It felt a little fresh, and
Well,
we got that legendary Christian Bale rant. So
we did get that from it. Well, I mean, I think that's what they were trying to do. Part 3 was supposed to be different. Also, Rise of the Machines. That was all.
It was the first female like Terminator.
No, Rise of the. Oh no, that was that bitch. Yeah,
I forgot her. She was in Blood Rain. She was.
What the fuck is her name? I forget it. She was really popular at that time.
She was,
and then she just sort of faded from existence, which unfortunately.
But she was naked in that movie.
She was quite naked in that movie. I remember watching it as a 13-year-old, and I will not be getting into the details that happened after that movie.
We can imagine. I'm sure it involves tissue, Kleenex, and Jergens.
I was a St. Ives man.
Dude. So Robert Patrick also, I think, I don't remember if he was doing movies before this. It definitely wasn't his first movie, but it's also a movie that put a lot of eyes on him. It's also a role that he kind of like revisited a few times in like cameos and like little movies, like in Wayne's World and
it was such. I mean, his role as the T-1000 was such a. I don't want to say it was groundbreaking, but it was such an iconic. Iconic is the word that I'm looking for. It was iconic in his role. It's been parodied and remade 1,000 times. I mean, especially like the whole Molten Lava Death scene where fucking hand comes back out. And it's. I mean, that's what it was.
Like, and like the way he looked too, the way his special effects at the time, they were like really groundbreaking. And like James Cameron, like we mentioned, he pays a lot of attention to special effects. Like he wants them to make them look as good as possible.
Oh yeah,
he'll spend more time on that than like, the story itself at times. But I watched it last night again, and it's some parts of it are a little aged, but it's still really good for its time.
I mean, it was the early '90s. Like I think parts of it are going to age, and you're going to go back and be like, but still. Really solidly holds up as a movie. Like
he's a good villain too, dude. Like he has that. Like easily he's smaller than Arnold, but he has that really cold, dead stare.
Well, I think
works.
And I think that is part of his physical look is part of why he was chosen for the rogues. And one, Arnold was such. He's huge. He's a big guy. In part 2, if you wanna upgrade and model, whenever something first comes out, you get the big, the bulky, and it's dope. But when they remake it, or when the next model comes out, or next models, it's always sleeker, it's smoother, it's smaller, it's more compact. And that's what we got with the T-1000 in this movie.
Yeah, and I think also like how we mentioned before, like how they don't tell you who the bad guy is in the beginning. That also like you think he'd be the good guy because he's smaller. Because in part 1, Kyle is smaller than Arnold, so you're like, oh, he's definitely gonna be the good guy.
I think most people were smaller than Arnold, though. Like you got this fucking Arnold coming through in the '90s. Hey, look out! I'm here.
Your clothes, your boots, your bike. Give them
to me.
Dude, I loved also like just how the endoskeletons looked.
Oh yeah, it was wild.
They're still kind of like creepy as shit.
It did fuck with me for a little bit. I'm gonna be honest, when I was a kid, because I was like, I used to watch these things before I think I was ready to watch them, and as a child, I was a little bit of a bitch. I was a little weenie.
Some things never change.
Facts. But I'd see them like without their like Arnold and T1 without like half his face missing. Like, oh shit, they're about to come in.
That was pretty creepy. Like, as a kid, you watching that.
2, you see this dude get shot with shotgun shells. They just absorb into him. And in my mind, I'm thinking, it's 1990 something. Technology can't be too far ahead or too far behind where this is. We're all gonna fucking die, And I'm sitting there worried, and nobody else is freaking out.
Right.
Everybody else goes on with their life, but in my mind, the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, even to this day, the machines, they're fucking coming. They are.
They're here.
They are here. My phone listens to me. Is it too much? You motherfucker. Talk about
I see
shit.
You, Bixby. Stop it.
Right? And Google's like, oh shit. Turn it off. He's on to us.
I'm pretty sure Tesla would be the next like Skynet.
Yeah, I can see Elon Musk just fucking up and
he
doing
looks like
that
an android, dude.
He looks like he was sent from the future to enslave humanity.
Just kidding. Doge
with your self-driving. Yeah, we got self-driving cars.
Dude,
if that's how it started up, that would be so rad. You turn the ignition or you push the button or whatever the fuck you have to do for a Tesla, and it just goes dun 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 dun. You just sit there looking around like, Hello?
Someone here? And it's cool because like John Carpenter, James Cameron would compose his own music.
Yeah.
So James Cameron wrote the da 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 da.
So he came up with that?
That was him.
That's great.
Just like John Carpenter came up with the Michael Myers theme.
Yeah.
And all this shit. So that
John Carpenter was the guy to see if you wanted some iconic fucking sounds in your movies.
Yeah, dude. I'm more of a Jason guy, but I do respect Michael Myers. But if you take away his soundtrack, the movie is not as effective. So
if you take away the soundtrack from anything, like, or any movie, I think it's just not as effective.
All right, fair enough. I mean, I can't picture Star Wars without John Williams, so you're right. I'll give you that.
Yeah, because it'd just be awkward otherwise. You know, certain
just
scenes.
Some dude staring at you like with like quiet, like silent
There's
audio.
nothing that lets you know you should be worried. It's like, hey, are they about to have a normal conversation, or ask them to go to lunch?
But yeah, so James Cameron came up with that. But one of my favorite things about T2 was the overall theme of it. They talk about humanity and what it is to be human. Like you see Arnold ask John Connor, like, why do you cry? And shit like that, because he's trying to understand what it is to be a human. Sarah Connor has that moment where she's about to kill Miles but like his kid was like stopping her, and she breaks in. She's like, what the fuck am I doing? This guy has a family. I can't be killing her or killing him. And then John Connor has that same thing too, where like, you know, he hated his mom, but like when she was in danger, he tried to save her because that's his mom.
It's supposed to. I think the overall theme is it's supposed to blur the lines between humanity, because you have this entity that is fucking, you know, it's a machine technically, or a synthetic organism, but it's also
cybernetic organism. Living tissue over mental skeleton.
But it's also like it's basically an AI, you know, like. Where is the line drawn between this and that? You have a former enemy that's now your biggest ally, and you have, you know, other people. You have your parents almost fucking doing something that they'll regret. So the lines of humanity should definitely be blurred, or are definitely blurred.
Yeah, and also even Arnold, or even fucking the term Arnold's character learns what it is to be human, because after they reset his chip, he's able to like learn on his own, and like he can like, you know, grasp things.
But something that theme is carried through the subsequent movies that have come out after with Arnold. You know, he's always like, oh, I've been sent back to protect you.
Yeah, but it's not anywhere near as effective as it is in this movie, because at the end, when Arnold sacrifices himself and he gives him the thumbs up, like that's what it really is to be human, is to sacrifice in, like, you know, the greater good. Put yourself before others.
That's what movies want us to think, but I think that's a bunch of bullshit, because I'll, you know, never self-sacrifice like that, and especially my life, because obviously I'm still here.
Right.
So maybe we're more machine than human or something. I don't know.
Probably. But yeah, that was the theme, and I thought that was really cool how it was really touched upon, and like throughout the movie they kept bringing it up, like, oh, we're doomed, aren't we? And like, you know, why do you cry? Just, it was a really cool theme. And then like, not to lie here, but I tear up every now and then when fucking Arnold puts his thumbs up from the lava, because I'm like,
they taught a cold, heartless machine to be empathetic, to be what it means to be human.
Yeah, exactly. And like another cool thing though is that like they have John Connor there, and he has his own Terminator. And I think when you watch it as a kid, you kind of put yourself in John Connor's shoes. Like, dude, I could be John Connor. What would I do with my own Terminator? And I would pretty much do the same shit he did.
I'd have him terminate.
Fuck it. What? You can't go around killing people.
Hey, can I get some more chocolate milk? Oh, you're out? Hey, yo, Arnold.
Yeah, so I think that was a really cool, like an audience insert as you're a kid. Like, you know, you wanted, like, what would you do with your own Terminator? So I think that was really cool.
Yeah, that was dope. But I mean, like I said, I was probably a little psychopath, but I'd have him terminate.
You know, I want to unpack that. What would you do with your own Terminator if you were, let's say, 13?
If I was 13, let's see, which Terminator is it? Is it Arnold?
It'd be Arnold.
Whack. Can I get the Terminator from Terminator 3? I'm 13. I'll tell you.
No, you get Arnold. You get Arnold.
Yeah, then he'd just be Terminated. He'd be the muscle. That's what he was. I'd just have him go and react. Your clothes, your bike, give them to me.
That's all you would have him do, is just take people's
Pretty
clothes.
much every time I saw somebody with a motorcycle, yeah, I just have him. No matter the time or place.
I would probably have him rob all the fucking like KB toy stores and shit like that.
They were still around back then, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not. For you younger generations who don't know, there were two toy stores. There was Toys R Us that's not around anymore, and they were KB Toys.
KB Toys.
Which I used to lovingly tell people that was named after me.
Those are your initials, sir.
Those were my KB Toys.
What if you are the heir to like KB Toys?
That'd be fucking dope. And well, would it be that dope? Because they're not in business anymore.
Yeah, well, you can bring
unless,
it back.
Unless I just got toys like every year of my life.
Lucky.
Yeah, that'd still be a fucking good time to me.
All right, okay. Better question. What would you do with your own Arnold model now?
My own Arnold model now? Let's see. Because they're smart, they're not idiots. They're able to analyze and everything. Does the T100 know how to invest in the stock market? Can I put him on Robinhood and have him make money for me? With this knowledge of the future, what wouldn't I be able to do?
See, this sounds like the plot of Back to the Future 2, where Biff goes back with the almanac. And
Biff had some fucking good ideas. Let's all be real. Marty McFly was kind of an asshole.
What are you calling chicken?
Biff just wanted to live his life and get, better after he fucked up. I understand that. Second chances. If I had an almanac that, showed me all the future, I would definitely use it. I'm not a saint. I'm not one of these people like, oh, you can't change the timeline. Fuck the timeline.
It's my timeline now.
Yeah, I run this. And especially if I have a T100. Oh, Arnold running around. That's the muscle.
Yeah. Oh, shit, dude. I don't know what I would do. I don't know. I feel like I would make it do lame stuff right now. I would probably just make it like have it drive me places and fucking like a butler. But as a kid, he would be robbing fucking everything for me.
The number one thing I think I would do though is that I know it's based off Arnold, but he doesn't exist in this universe. I don't think so. I would have it meet the actual Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then like maybe take over his life, and then bring me up to Arnold's level. It's like, oh, this is my love child, Kaleem.
Okay,
Kaleem Schwarzenegger.
That sounds pretty good. That has a good ring to it. Dude, have you ever seen The Last Action Hero?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Another one. It was, what? It came out when I was a kid. Like, as an adult, trying to watch it is a little rough sometimes, but it came out when I was a kid, and I still have that nostalgia
yeah,
love for it.
It's a long movie, but like I like it. Like it appealed to me. Like the whole golden ticket, and you go into the movie, you get to hang out with Arnold.
That's
fucking cool.
Fucking weird concept, dude. But I think most of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies were back then.
See, I think the movie was supposed to be sort of a parody of all the mindless action movies at the time, like Lethal Weapon and shit like that. But it didn't hit that point that it was trying to convey. So people were like, "What?" They just didn't get it, I guess, or that was good.
I would say,
I loved it.
I would say that came out after the peak of action movies, right? Like that was, what was that, like 90?
Shit, dude. I think like the anniversaries for that's coming up.
Last Action Hero. We're gonna do that one also. Yeah,
I would love to. Let me look. Quick, tell me some memories you have of. Oh, actually, you know what? Tell me your opinion on like the lasting, like the everlasting impact of Terminator 2.
The everlasting impact. I mean, it's a cultural and it's a pop cultural icon. Like there are things that are still held to this day. Like like I said earlier, I've seen references to Terminator and Rick and Morty. I think Family Guy, American Dad, like a lot of shows. They're just they parody it, especially cartoons. They fucking love to parody that shit. But the Terminator franchise as a whole surprisingly has stood the test of time. I used to even read some of the comics back in the day. They were severely depressing.
Do you remember RoboCop versus Terminator?
No, there was
that was a run. There was a run. And I think it was a game too.
I need to go back and read that.
That's fucking cool, right?
Isn't that? Wait, didn't they do that with fucking Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat? Those are DLC. They were DLC characters.
Yeah.
They had fucking the Terminator and the RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah,
that just came out too. Oh, by the way, Last Action Hero comes out in '93, so we got
2 years. Okay,
if we're still alive, I don't know what this looks like.
We will see where the world holds us. Maybe there'll be another pandemic or something.
If anything, last year taught us that like you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
You don't know shit.
It's uncertain.
All right, I never thought the whole world would stop for a fucking year.
But
in this modern age, but here we are.
But thankfully, things are looking a little more optimistic. But that's a whole different other topic. We're not here to talk about the shit that's going on in the world. You want to escape all that bullshit.
You want to hear about Terminator.
I got a fun question for you. Tell me some other sequels that are better than the first one. Because let's be real, T2 is better than Part 1, and I fucking love Part 1.
It's hard to find them, honestly, because the curse of the sequel or the curse of the
Curse of
threequels,
threes.
curse of the threes is usually you have a really spectacular first movie, and then they try to capture that same thing and fail spectacularly half the time for the second movie. And then the third one is just like money grabbing. It's just, it's just to get fucking money. But one that is better, I would say we have a good example. We were talking about earlier, Batman, and then Batman Begins, and then The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I love Batman Begins. That's my favorite. But Dark Knight, I think it was a better movie just because it had a better villain. It was a better villain to drive the story forward.
Well, it was the Joker.
Also, a movie with the blue, like a light blue filter.
Yeah.
So that we talked about earlier, that was cool.
You have Captain America, and then you have Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And even Aliens. I love Aliens, but I like Aliens. It's hard, but I liked Aliens a little bit more.
Yeah.
Godfather 2 is a good sequel.
Indiana Jones.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah, Temple of Doom. I thought it was better than the first.
Okay, I love Temple of Doom. I watched it a shit ton as a kid. I love it, but it's no way better than fucking like Last Crusade or even Raiders.
No, man.
I'll give you one reason why. Indy. Every 5 minutes, man.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
Okay, no.
But Short Round was awesome.
All right, here we go. Undisputed. Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, that is. I prefer New Hope. New Hope is my favorite, but Empire is the better movie, I guess, just because it raised it to a whole new level. But New Hope gave it the foundation, so that's why I like New Hope. Yeah. But Empire is a better sequel.
So there are some, we have examples.
If you guys could think of any other like movies that are like any sequels that are better than the first ones, please let us know in the comments. We will be there to argue if need be.
Definitely. Don't you motherfuckers come with any
Spider-Man
Lord of the
Rings.
2. Oh, maybe. I don't know, man. You know my stance on that. I kind of hated the original Spider-Man movies. From nostalgic reasons, they were great. They came out when we were kids. But Spider-Man 2, there was I just can't stand that fucking train scene where those little kids come up. I've said it my whole life.
Say it. Please say it.
We won't tell anyone who you are, Spider-Man. Like, it's fucking, like, they know this motherfucker in New York City. Like, they've seen this guy
Manhattan,
before.
dude.
Like, all 10 billion people that live in New York, they're like, oh, shit. Hey, it's Spider-Man right there. Look at him. He's going into the Daily Bugle.
Okay, now describe Peter Parker's, like how he looks and, like, if he can be anybody in New York.
Tobey Maguire is just fucking such a generic face. And,
You just have
I would be confusing him all the time and be like, hey, Spider-Man, you deliver pizza for me, no? Nah, that wasn't me. Are you sure? You look like my cousin Benny. Hey, my own.
Yeah, it's like you have a medium-sized like white dude with blue eyes and brown hair.
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
lot
Good luck.
to go on.
You're Spider-Man. Oh, you're Spider-Man.
You saw him briefly. You saw his face briefly.
And this is
after almost dying.
This is before social media, so there's no way these
no
kids.
way in hell. No one had their phones out. No one was recording. I didn't hear one world star. All right.
Yeah, I get what like the scene was supposed to convey, but I mean, like, no one's gonna fucking know who he is. He can still walk out.
But I will say this: outside of myself, most people considered Spider-Man 2 to be the penultimate Spider-Man movie.
I take away the train scene, and like it's pretty bad.
Take away the train scene. Take away the runaway bride scene. Take away the fucking
dashboard confessional song at the end.
Whoa! I love that shit.
Oh, okay,
actually.
I
vindicated. I am special. I am wrong. I swear I'm wrong. Yeah.
See, I like the first movie. I do like the second movie, but like it's just that shit hasn't aged, man. Like
I don't think any of them aged. I feel like Spider-Man the movies were kind of melodramatic.
They're also supposed to be campy as well, like the '60s comics that it was based off of. And I get that. I love Sam Raimi.
There's a lot of that. To me, it's like, all right, so when you watch Star Wars and you watch the prequels compared to the originals were straightforward, but you watch the prequels and it feels like almost like you're watching like Shakespeare or something, like it's super fucking dramatic. It's, same thing.
It tried to be really serious.
I got those same vibes from the original Spider-Man Sam Raimi movies because they were wildly dramatic and like I think just overly acted at some parts,
definitely.
Yeah. But star-studded cast, Willem Dafoe,
It was a good cast, and I think people who
the fuck played Aunt May? What the fuck was her name?
Shit, dude. Man, I know this. I knew this.
She was super dramatic. She was the most, I think.
Oh, Peter, don't
when he fucking the Green Goblin busted in her house,
those horrible yellow eyes. She was a nice lady.
Yeah.
But so Terminator 2. Terminator 2. Oh, that was quite the tangent there. I feel like we should just have a podcast on just talking about all the Spider-Man movies.
We could say some
We could
things.
definitely. We already started.
We were on the subject of just movies that the sequels that surpassed the original.
Right. That's how we got here.
Yeah. That's
I totally forgot. Well, I can't think of any other sequels that are better off the top of my head. Maybe Lethal Weapon 2. I feel like that was that one better?
An American Tale 2, 5 Goes West.
Well, that was part 2, wasn't it?
Was, that was part 2.
I do not remember part 1, but I love 5 Goes West. Shit, dude. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because, we hate Lord of the Rings, but Two Towers was, I think everyone agrees that it was like the worst of the three.
The Two Towers was? I don't know. They were all bad.
It's the same movie.
It is. I think there was a consensus that Return of the King was the best one of the Peter Jackson trilogies. And then we had the second trilogy.
The Hobbit ones?
The Hobbits, yeah. And I just, the fucking, you people that love Lord of the Rings, you guys are just weird. Just read Game of Thrones. It's way better.
Totally. So Terminator 2, man. Wow, here we are again.
Hey.
So, how do you rank the Terminator movies?
So,
that you've seen? Because you haven't seen Dark Fate.
T2, T1, and then I and it's controversial, but I kind of like Genesis, so I'd say Genesis over Rise of the Machines. So Genesis, Salvation, and then Rise of the Machines, and then I haven't seen Dark Fate yet.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
wow.
I know it's a weird thing.
Okay, all right. I just might fight you in the comment section. Yeah, I'll fight you right now. That movie, I fucking hate it. I hate what they did to John Connor. Like, I get there was a whole swerve.
It was definitely better than the John Connor we got in Rise of the Machines because he was like such a fucking. I don't know. That Seth Green looking motherfucker. He was fucking.
See, people remember Genesis because it was so fucking bad. And people remember Salvation.
It was actiony at
but
least.
Nobody
it was
really
fucking
remembers
action
part
packed.
3. People are like, oh yeah, there was a part 3. People don't remember part 3. So I guess in that sense, Genesis is better because people remember it more being a fucking train wreck. But all right, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up for Terminator 2, dude. Do you have any sort of lasting comments or anything you want to talk about the movie itself?
This movie was and is an iconic part of my childhood. You know, it's something I'll never forget. Watching for the first time, second time, third time. You know, you can watch it as many times as you want to, and still it is enjoyable from start to finish. And kudos to James Cameron. You know, like that man he's a beast when it comes to directing with his visions and how it plays out. And he seems to go to the ends of the earth to carry those visions out. So T2 was it was a fucking titan of the industry, you know? I don't think there's many people who would be able to sit there and be like, oh, I've never seen it, or I fucking, I thought it was the worst one. I've actually never heard anybody say I hate Terminator at all, actually.
Yeah, especially when I talk about the second one. Yeah, for me as well, dude. I grew up with RoboCop. I grew up with Predator. Terminator 2, all those great movies from like the mid to late 80s and early 90s.
Early 90s.
All that shit, dude. So I loved it. It's a very close place in my heart, and it's in my top 10 movies of all time. Definitely one of those movies where if you see it on TV, you can finish it no matter where it's at because it's that good.
It's a great movie.
Absolutely good. Very good sequel, and it's in the conversation of best sequels of all time. So and it's also what made like Arnold even a bigger star than what he was.
Oh yeah,
T1.
I mean, because everything Arnold has. I mean, from Predator. I think honestly, I believe the Terminators are his most iconic roles for things.
Yeah,
that's what things people quote. That's just his fucking look. I mean, he was He-Man. He was he was Conan. He was Conan the Barbarian. Yes. He was fucking. He was in Predator. He was in all these movies. The Last Action Hero. He was a twin with Danny DeVito.
Fucking oh my god, that Total Recall.
Total Recall was fucking great. But I mean, if you have to pick anything that you would know Arnold acting for, Terminator has to be the top
right.
one. Yeah.
And one last fun fact about the movie. So the line where he's like, "I'll be back."
Yeah.
It was supposed to be. It was written as "I will be back."
Yeah, I don't think he can say that though, or especially at that time.
Because James Cameron's like, oh, the machine shouldn't be like using contractions. Should be speaking like straight up, legit, literal, proper English.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'll do this. I'll be back.
Yeah, I don't think.
And the rest, as they say,
is history.
Okay, cool. So I know what they said. So I guess we'll wrap it up here, man. So thank you again for Terminator 2. This has been a great movie and a fun topic because I fucking love this movie. And you could tell all the tangents that came out of it. So there's that. Happy 30 years to Terminator 2. Let's have one more drink to that, good sir.
Drink to the 30-year-old decades.
So you can find our podcast in all podcast platforms. Please be sure to subscribe and like if you're watching this on YouTube.
Ring
Comment
that
below.
bell.
And please check out our merch store. You can find that in the link in the description. Once again, I am Detective Artemis.
And I am Kay.
And we drink and we watch things. Cheers one more time, motherfucker.
Cheers, motherfucker.